Hello there, I'm Duncan Evans. I do dark folk, post-punk, melancholy music as a solo artist. I work with a band. I've been a member of a band called A Forest of Stars. I've got another project called Moonlow that has a track out, and the album's going to be released soon. I'm collaborating with a lot of people at the moment. I've got some records in the works. This is for the US-based YouTube channel Brutally Delicious. So yeah, I've got a lot of friends over in the US, and I hope to be coming out there to tour once that's possible, once the restrictions are eased and we sort of know a bit more about what's going on. So I'm going to try and answer as many of these questions as possible. Okay, so let's start.
If you had to give up one thing for the rest of your life, would it be brushing your hair or brushing your teeth?
That'd be brushing my hair, I think, because even though I do have long hair, I think I could find alternative methods other than using a hairbrush. You know, I think I could probably run my fingers through my hair and be all right, but without brushing my teeth, I think it wouldn't do my teeth any good, and it probably would be quite smelly for the breath.
Would you rather be a hobbit or an elf for 24 hours?
I guess maybe a hobbit might have a bit more adventure. And also, even though the hobbits in Lord of the Rings are perhaps more defenceless than the elves, they didn't seem to get involved in as many dangerous situations such as wars and battles. So I'm going to go with a hobbit.
What's the craziest thing you've ever done?
Who knows? But I have made a Weetabix curry once. I didn't have anything as the main ingredient for the curry, so I decided to use Weetabix and to kind of break it up into pieces. Didn't work. It was an abject failure, so don't try that. It was a bad idea, but you know, it was fine in the end, although very crazy indeed.
If you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Curry. So I'm a big fan of food from places like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, that sort of cuisine. In the UK we have a lot of that sort of cuisine. Curry's even been named the national dish in the UK. I'm not sure if it was England or the UK actually as a whole. I think it was the UK as a whole. Yeah, so I would certainly eat that every day. I often do eat it on a daily basis, to be absolutely honest. So that's quite an easy one for me.
Would you rather have nosy neighbours or noisy neighbours?
Well, noisy to an extent is fine because I make music and I record music and I play my guitar and things like that. And I've got a home studio, so within reason, noisy is okay because then there's a give and take situation where you can sort of say, look, I'm going to be making a bit of noise between these times, and they might say, well, we're having a party making a bit of noise between these other times, and that's okay. Yeah, if I wasn't able to make any noise myself making music, that would be a bit of a problem. So we'll go with noisy, but within reason, you know, it all depends, doesn't it?
Would you rather have a third eye or a third arm?
I think this idea of the third eye, being able to have special insight into things that not everybody can see, I think that'd be quite cool. So we'll go with that.
How do you feel about putting pineapple on a pizza?
I feel very comfortable with that. I like pineapple on pizza. I know some people say it's not traditional. I think that's true. It's not traditional in the sense of it being Italian cuisine, but I don't care because I like it. So there we go. In the same way that a lot of curry, as I was talking about earlier, that we eat in the UK probably isn't traditionally the same recipe that you might eat over in Bangladesh, but if I like it, then I'm not too bothered about that, really. Okay, so yes to pineapple on pizza.
Which of the 7 dwarfs is most like you?
Well, given that at the moment, the only one that I can remember is Dopey, that actually means that probably is the most fitting one for me at the moment, because I'm obviously being dopey enough not to remember any of the other 7 dwarves, so we'll go with Dopey.
We finish the interview and you step outside the office and find a lottery ticket that ends up winning $10 million. What would you do? Convert it into British pounds so I could spend it more easily. And then I'd probably spend it on music stuff. I probably wouldn't spend all of it on that, but I'd have to think long and hard. But I would be looking at spending some of it on building the music things that I do anyway, that do cost a lot of money. What do you think about when you're alone in your car?
I listen to music a lot in the car, and I think about that. I listen to the radio a lot. I think about what's going on in the world. Sometimes songs come to me in the car, so I might think about a chord sequence or an idea for lyrics, and then when I'm safely stopped, I might write that down or do a little recording of it and send it to myself so I can come back to it later and make it into a full song.
Teach me something I don't know in the next 30 seconds.
Okay, so the Dorian Mode, this is a music theory thing, by the way. The Dorian Mode is exactly the same as the Aeolian Mode, except for the Dorian Mode, the sixth degree of the scale is sharpened by one semitone. There you go. I mean, you might have known that anyway. I don't know. But if you didn't, then now you do. There you go.
If you woke up and had 2,000 unread emails and could only answer 300 of them, how would you choose which ones to answer?
I would do what I do anyway, which is I would firstly filter out the ones that I have no interest in answering, that don't even require an answer, that perhaps don't even ask for an answer. You know, you get a lot of advertising, you get a lot of spam emails. Sometimes that can be not the spam, but sometimes the advertising might be interesting if it's advertising something you actually want. But I would sort of triage it, get rid of those ones. Then I would look at the ones that do require an answer, and I would firstly answer the ones which are more urgent, which are important to me because they're perhaps about a project that's happening now or soon, and or which are important to the other person or people involved. Because you don't want to keep people waiting if it's something that needs an answer quickly. So I'd do it like that.
While you are sitting in quarantine or lockdown, a penguin walks through the door wearing a sombrero. What does he say and why is he here?
I have no idea. I mean, this is a situation that I've just been told about. Maybe it'll happen today. We'll see what the penguin says, wearing the sombrero that can talk, that's a male penguin on lockdown.
Would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak?
Well, I'd rather still be able to speak because if I couldn't read, I could still get people to read to me. I could listen to audiobooks. I could get my information elsewhere. But if I couldn't speak, then that would be very difficult socially, getting on in life, and I probably wouldn't be able to sing as well. So there you go. That's the answer.
Is cereal a soup? Why or why not?
No, it's not. Why or why not? Well, I don't think it... Look, it's not... It's generally considered to be sweet, I would say, rather than savoury. Cereal generally has quite a bit of sugar with it. There are lots of... the cereal itself... we're talking about cereal with milk here, presumably. The cereal itself doesn't come with milk, does it? So there's nothing soup-like about it. And so once you add the milk, or equivalent, it's soup-like in some way. I'm not a big fan of cereal. Especially not in curry, Weetabix curry. So there you go.
What's the weirdest smell you have ever smelled?
I don't have a sense of smell, or I have very, very little sense of smell. It's called anosmia. So I did used to have a sense of smell. I don't anymore. It's one of those things that can happen. So I suppose that we can sort of just turn that question around. The weirdest thing, if you want to call it weird, is that I can't smell anything at all. Occasionally I can. I sometimes think I can. A tiny bit.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Why or why not?
Well, we're getting into semantics here. So the hot dog, it could be argued that that's the sausage. But if we're talking about the hot dog in the bun, then I would say, yeah, basically, because it has the characteristics of a sandwich. You've got bread on either side, the filling in the middle. So yeah, I'll go with that.
What mythical creature would improve the world most if it existed?
The peace mongoose. I've just invented that mythical creature now. So it's a myth that I have propagated over the last 10 seconds or so. The peace mongoose.
What are some fun and interesting alternatives to war that countries could settle their differences with?
Look, we can get into a lot of debates and discussions here. I don't think wars generally solve very much, and there is obviously a huge cost in terms of human life, which is not good at all, and we have to look at that. It's the thing is, when countries settle their differences, this is an interesting question, because who in the country has the difference with who in the other country, so when people talk about countries as a whole, as though the country is one person with one mindset or one idea. I think it's inaccurate, basically. So there we go.
Would you rather meet George Washington or the current president?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure what I would say to the current president. I mean, I would have a lot of, I have my own opinions. I don't live in the USA. I have my own opinions about the political situation there. I think there are a great deal of problems there, as there are in the UK as well, as there are in other parts of the world. So it depends on the context, doesn't it? I don't know. Probably the current president, because maybe if I met the current president, perhaps I could talk about something which is actually relevant to changing things now. But I don't know why it would be me that would be doing that. It probably wouldn't be, would it?
Would you rather lose your vision or your hearing?
Vision, because hearing is essential to music. So, obviously I wouldn't want to lose my vision, but if it was one or the other, I would lose that and keep my hearing, because I could still play music and listen to music and enjoy music.
Would you rather have X-ray vision or magnified hearing?
I suppose magnified hearing, again, musician, sound engineer, it'd probably be quite helpful to have the magnified hearing. X-ray vision, not too interested in that.
Would you rather have Rambo or the Terminator on your side?
I don't know. I mean, they're both a bit maniacal, aren't they? Do I want a maniacal killing machine on my side? I don't know. I'll reserve judgment on that.
Would you rather your name be Little Caesars or Papa John?
Quite like the name Little Caesar. I'm not saying I'd want to be compared to Julius Caesar necessarily, but quite like that name in a way. So we'll go with that. Papa John, I don't know. Yeah, we'll go with Little Caesar if we can just remove the S from the end. Someone should do that as a band name, like a solo artist. Maybe someone already has. I think it would be better to have that as an artist name than Papa John, personally. Right, that's it. Those are all the questions. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Brutally Delicious for the interview. I'm Duncan Evans. Listen to my music if you want to. Cheers. Thank you. Goodbye.